G'day, I'm Murray. This is my backyard and it's the 30th of August, so it's time for the monthly update. It's going to be a bit choppy today because we've got this wind that comes through sporadically, in which case I'm going to stop filming and then start to film again later. And we're starting beside the Daikon radish because I want to talk about them quite a bit today in the context of what they can do for me here as well as over by the banana trees and around the tank and other places in the garden. Now, just a quick anecdote. A mate was walking his dog past on the road and popped up for a visit one afternoon, and I gave him some produce and I asked him if he liked radish, and he said yes, he did. I said, right, well, I'll get you a radish. And I turned around and the radish was directly between me and him, and I got the pitchfork and I worked it out of the ground and I turned around with a radish. 2/3 of it was underground. It was a big daikon. Now, we can't use snow and ice in winter to kill radish off and cause them to rot in the fields the way they use the tillage radish in the United States. It doesn't get cold enough, thankfully. But you can cut the top of the radish off and let it rot in the ground. And it's going to create a void in due course. And it's also going to provide a fertilizer as it deteriorates that will become available to nearby plants. So we've got something that will drill down into the soil and expand. And yes, some of it will be above the ground, but a lot of it will be below the ground. On top of that, you can use the top for mulch, or you can eat the top. The bit that's out of the ground is generally considered to be sweeter than the tuber that's below the ground, the part of the tuber that's below the ground. And there's various ways to use this to your advantage in a gardening situation. If these guys are drilling down more than 6 inches, and they will be, they'll be breaking up the hard pan soil beneath. Now the first 2 beds, as you come across, the 60 centimetre bed down the side and the 1.2 adjacent to that, they were dug over and then cardboarded, and then topsoil was placed on top of the cardboard. Because of the amount of grass that was present in the position of the next 2 beds, the 1.1 metre and the 2 metre bed, I decided to cardboard and then topsoil straight over the top of the grass. At the moment, the thickest of these guys is about 55 mil across, and that's the one at the front here that I can conveniently get to, that one, because some of them are a lot closer to the ground level and I don't want to disturb them. But I'm hoping it might double that, because the tuber I gave John, it was enormous. I mean, you could have used it for home defense. It was 18 inches long at least, and I didn't get all of it out of the ground because it broke off near the base. And yet it was just a huge chunk of radish. So break up the soil, let them rot, leave a void, and that will help other plants' roots move through that void and aerate the harder soil. That's what I want to say about radish at the start. There's going to be a link in the video to radish 2, which is going to be over by the bananas. Well, the babacco has dropped a fruit about 2 days ago. We're getting some colour on them, and this is tiny. I thought I would leave it here for this video. I'll take it in later and see if it ripens. But, yep. It's not happy yet, and I hope it gets as happy as it was when it gave me all of that fruit. I've taken off the snow peas. The jicama are doing slowly. Taken off these snow peas as well. They were finished. I actually had to get on top of the tank to pick. It was a bit too high, what with this being a sloped area, and I didn't want to step in the garden. Black cherry. Absolutely fantastic tomato. Incredible burst of flavour. Lovely. Definitely going to keep. I'm going to take some cuttings off the back there. I'm going to propagate that, and I will put it in other places. Compared to the tomato berry, the black cherry isn't very productive. I've only had one off this so far, and I may have made a mistake. I had literally just eaten a black cherry and then had one of these. I bit it in half and I nearly spat it out because that is so sweet and so tasty. It wasn't a fair test, but I'm thinking this plant is going to go, and the wallabies have started to help me get rid of it. I'm not too worried about it being nibbled off on the side. I'm pretty sure nothing at all has happened in this section since last time. Oh, a lot of pawpaws have come off. They're a bit spotty at the moment, but they're still, the flesh is still good. This calamondin is just really fruiting heavily. It's doing well for itself. How are these going? Slowly getting bigger. That's good. Oh, I decided to put my chook manure and mulch from the bottom of the chook house inside 4 bales. I was going to make a square box out of corrugated iron, and then I thought if I put it in there with mulch on top to keep it wet, or help hold moisture in, it should speed the aging of these bales and the decomposition of them, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to have a few of those scattered around the place as I get more chook manure. Still got 2 agati trees. This pawpaw has given a lot of fruit, but is looking pretty sorry for it and sad at the moment. The pigeon pea is awash with pollinators. It's doing rather well. And I have removed a mass of sword beans, and I got the tree puller out to pull the roots out because they looked to me like they were going to reshoot if I didn't rip them out of the ground. So I'm all set. Now, I've been talking about aspirationally tomatoes. As you can see, it's still in shade here, and the wallabies might eat the tomatoes if I put them in here and don't put a fence around the front. A couple of things: if I move this back a bit further, that'll give me a bit more room to fit some wire across the front, temporary fencing if I wanted to. And as it gets wetter, the grass will grow. So if I wait a couple of months, we should start to get some rain. Apparently there's an El Nino at the moment, and this will start to get more sun because the sun is going to keep coming until this gets morning sun, literally all morning. It's just how it works here. And the other side of the tank will be shaded in summer, but this side of the tank gets full sun in summer. So by early or mid-spring, this should be in full sun all morning, which is ideal for tomatoes. Well, maybe not quite all the way around there, but yeah, time is my friend here. Okay, that's the plans for the tank. These guys are attracting a heap of native bees and European bees and other pollinators. Rosa rosemary. Oh yes, the blue java closest to us has thrown a flag leaf, so it's starting to get a bulge, so it's going to have a bunch of bananas quite soon. No real news from this bed. This is a banana that was hanging around in a pot for a while. I've thrown it in here to put it in the ground. It's too close to 2 other bananas, but I'm going to take suckers off it, and I do want to put a couple of loads of topsoil all the way through this bed here, so it will get more soil around its base, and then I will remove the parent. Okay, before we get to the cages, Mexican sunflower I'm growing as a mulch crop, and it's supposed to be incredible for that, particularly in hotter climates. I've gone through and I've tipped every second plant because I'm going to be cutting these down at a certain height, or I envisage doing that. I'm wondering if it will cause every second plant to bush up more, but I've got a good comparison. And all I have to do is remember each end are tipped and they alternate. A while ago I actually started to plant little square beds of Daikon radish out here, and the idea was that I would grow it, let it get as big as it could, then cut it off and compost the top half and let the bottom rot, and loosen this soil up for the banana trees and sequentially move them uphill. And when I got to another old Daikon patch, I was going to start again at the bottom and have the 4 beds just constantly walking their way up the hill. They got eaten by wallabies, and I was thinking I had to get rid of this to tidy up around here, and thought, wait, I'll put it out here and I'll grow some Daikon in it and try and get this idea going again. And then once they came up, it motivated me to get some more tree protectors, homemade tree protectors, and to expand the Daikon plan back to the old days. So grow the Daikon. I don't know, there's 5 in there, and I may have to take the middle one out, or I may only leave 2 ultimately. We shall see. But grow the Daikon, see how it goes. It's a bit shady at the moment. Come summer, this will be getting more sun. In shade, Daikon are supposed to get long and thin rather than thicker. So they'll still be doing their job in summer. So they'll still be doing their job of breaking up the soil and providing nutrients. They may be just breaking up less of the soil or making a smaller hole and providing less nutrients. Speaking of Daikon, I'm still thinking about how to do a blue Java bed up here. If I build a bed frame out of corrugated iron and I cardboard it, and I mulch the cardboard to hold the cardboard in place, can I then wait a couple of weeks and come through and plant Daikon radish the length of the bed and let them grow, loosen up the soil for me, and then rot down? And should I do it again or a third time before we're there? It really depends on the time frame for the blue Java bed, because I could just build it quite quickly with loads of topsoil, but there's a fair amount of work I've got to do at the moment, and if I'm not going to get to this in a hurry, maybe I could do some of the job and get the Daikon to start doing more of the job. Yes, I know I'm talking a lot about Daikon, but they've been on my mind lately. Okay, need to clean that up. Nothing's happened back here except that yesterday I'd started to weed across the back here, and the lady magpie was squawking at me. I thought she wanted a second bale. I went to get her one, and she just came in here and she started to graze. So I stopped exactly where I was and let her go for it and did some other work. She squawked at me. I went to get her a bale, and now she's settled in exactly where I was weeding. Magpies. Okay, we'll talk about that when we're inside. Right, I have dumped some mulch, because this is going to be a mulch bed, across here. Now, I am trying to condition some bales to grow inside the actual straw bales. I may well do a video about this if the wallabies don't eat everything. And because it was a little damp one day, I was slipping on the slope over there trying to get up and down, so I popped in some steps. Now this is my first time trying straw bale gardening, and it's the only non-organic gardening that I'm going to be doing this year, I expect. And I've really got plans in mind to do this organically and effectively. Basically, you put a heap of nitrogen, fertilizer, urea on the bale and water it. And then you can effectively put soil plugs in and plant straight into the bale after a conditioning process. I'm not going to go into it now. There's plenty of information available and different ways to do it. But this slope, it's useless dead ground, and this is a lot easier than building square frames, filling them with topsoil to try and grow stuff down that slope, and ultimately hoping that the wallabies don't eat it all. But I'm thinking pumpkins and watermelons, and I've got room to expand if this works for me, and the wallabies don't eat it. Yes, the steps need work, and I've got plenty of room that way for when I put more steps in and level these out some more. I've had one go at improving the steps, and they're still not ideal, but a rock hammer, found that a really, really useful tool for it. So, yeah, it's easier than sliding your way down over there. Okay, we'll go straight into the veg patch. The lion's tail is starting to flower again. This is a big plant to have in a veg bed. It does attract a lot of pollinators, but I might have made a mistake putting it there. I've fertilised, dug through fertiliser, and I've mulched this. The dandelion, I had some of that in my scrambled eggs this morning. Good stuff. And I've done some more mulching over here. The soil level up to about here is too high to actually add topsoil to, so I'm just going to put topsoil in that sort of area there. Something really weird I've noticed, the jicama, I left this thinking the tuber will rot down and that it will provide nutrition to nearby plants. I think that's odd for such a manky looking tuber. I'm really curious to see what it's going to do. So yeah, I'm definitely not digging that out. I've got some more jicama in over here. Lamb's ear, I tried the chickens on it yesterday, but I didn't have time to stop and see how they ate it, or if they ate it. I have a carrot plant. I'm trying French market, which is a small round carrot because of the fact that it's rocky in here. And I'm also in the new veg patch extension trying some short, wide, triangular sort of carrots. I forget the name of them. Yes, this one's about to flower too, and it's got some insects on it, which are busy breeding, so we'll leave them alone. I probably should have removed some tomatoes from the base of these two plants, and I don't really care because they're rouge de mamans, they're delicious. This is a bed where I did radish as a cover crop, dug it through to put some green manure into the soil, and 2 of them have survived. But that is my perennial leeks. And I've got a lot of perennial leeks, and you'll see a bunch in the new section. And I've got some more to plant somewhere, whether it's in here or elsewhere. This area here is all mango ginger. Okay, I think from here we pretty much head down the front. Right, this was the area that was formerly covered by the calendula plant, died back in the middle, and I've taken a heap of plants from around the outside, potted them up and given them away, and I've just got to sort that area out at some stage. I don't think I put the turmeric in here during the last visit, and I don't know which kind of carrot, but I've got some kind of carrot in there in a fit of optimism to see how it goes. And that jicama has come up, and I put 2 seeds in each spot like I said I was going to, and I've removed 1 plant from 2 of the spots, so 6 out of 8 seeds came up. This is the last snow pea frame that I'm going to be planting for the year. I'm pretty sure they are done now, or it will be too hot for them shortly. This tomato, the Juan Flamme, sorry France, it's come into its own since I started to twine all of the new leads around it. It's actually producing a great deal of fruit, and what I've been trying to do, I'm not going to do it just here yet, is I'll twist that around, and I might even try and take it down a notch to make the plant grow downwards. I'm wondering just how much it can bear. It's doing really well, and it can take some serious abuse. If you have a look just here, this branch here is still just fine, even though it's nearly snapped off. So you can be pretty mean with them, and they will continue to produce. So yeah, interesting, and it could be good information for the espalier technique. And you may even do that on purpose to get a branch going in the right direction. I've got to cut back this. This is just ridiculous. So yeah, chop that back and mulch over for the banana bed, or the front bed, or 50-50. We'll decide. Oh, I'll work it out. Yeah, I am enjoying holy basil. It's got a taste all its own. Had some of that in my eggs this morning as well. Calendula plant. This one was planted maybe in the middle of summer, so it's not actually full size, but I'm going to have to reduce it and sort it out because it's a bit big. I really should cut the flowers and the dead flowers off the stevia so that they can save energy. Not that I use it much anymore, but it would be good to preserve the plant's energy for growing leaves. Oh yes, I had a couple of brown onions that were sprouting. What happens if you plant brown onions as you're headed into the warmer months of the year in my climate? Well, let's find out. 1 and 2. Will they die? Will they live? Will they divide? This one does look like it wants to divide, but it could be too hot for it. We'll see how that goes. It's fun. Well, for a given value of fun, I think it's fun. This is just amazing. I think this is its 2nd or 3rd year. I don't know if it's been self-seeding down under there, but it's done really, really well, and it's trying to take over the world. So yeah, the pollinators do like it too. There's just nothing on it at the moment. It's often quite well filled. Yes, remember me saying I was trying to preserve the ability to send more tomatoes up from the bottom on these trellises. It seems it's going to work, and these have been good producers for me for quite a while now. Ooh, I know, it's not a bug, it's an odd defect. So hopefully when they top out and have finished producing, I can run something else up using the same rootstock. But I do wonder if I would have got as good a crop with a single vine in the middle and sending 2 main trunks up instead of just single stemming them. But that's another question I'm going to be answering shortly or over the coming years. I've replanted wing bean seeds across the back because only one of them had come up. I've put 3 turmeric roots in here. I'd like to get a couple more. The Molokai purple sweet potato, I took 3 cuttings off. and now there's 5 just down here, and I hope it grows a bit more reasonably and responsibly than the Hawaiian purple, because that thing is just a monster. Hawaiian purple's still coming up after it was planted over about just the other side of that post. I've been doing a bit of weeding and mulching and tidying in here. This is more winged beans, and a fair few of them are up. I did replant, but I don't expect that they will be showing up for another couple of days or possibly a week. And there's 3 more in there because I had 3 extra seeds. Okay, to the extension. Black turmeric, trying a zucchini in there that I'm going to try and grow vertically. Echinacea and some bull's horn capsicum. I am going to have to work out something magical to try and keep those from being stung by whatever it is that stings stuff around here. I put this down sorry, I put this down for weed suppression, temporary weed suppression. Back here I knocked up a sweet potato bed. It's really, really quick and easy provided you've got a ute full of tubs of soil that you've shoveled earlier. And one of the main reasons I put this in was to try and see if I should keep the Hawaiian purple. There's 4 of those at the back there, and across the front are some standard store-bought Beauregard orange sweet potato, which I love and grows reliably. But these guys are a very odd sweet potato to me in the way that they grow, because their tuber can appear 3 feet away from the base of the plant and going under a piece of wood and into a hard packed path, rather than going into the soft dug over veg patch, which is to the other side of that arrangement. I had 8 of those in the very corner, thinking they'll be kept in line and be fairly safe in that 60 centimetre wide bed over there. And the minute I realised how tricky it was to grow in the veg patch and the growing method, the way it sets its tubers in odd places, I thought, I can't have that over there because it will grow under the paths and up through the paths, and it's going to be a constant nightmare. And these paths, I can't just cut that and replace it. It's stapled in on both sides, the weed mat. So it would be a real problem if I was trying to grow that over there. But because this is just dirt on cardboard, maybe they'll behave in certain situations. We'll see. But these guys I want more cuttings of, because I'm going to put those on trellises. 4 in the corner. I should get a couple of kilos of plant, and they won't take up much room, and they do grow well on trellises, those guys, the Beauregards. So I do want to systematically plant Daikon radish in this bed and the next bed over to break up the hard pan, or the soil, the lower soil, and the bed along the front. But I've got stuff in there, so I'm going to do it in patches on and off. There's a patch there that's got nothing in it. Okay, I've got another Lebanese zucchini in over there. I've got some cosmos, and I put in some more elsewhere for attracting pollinators. This is 6 more radish, or 5 more radish. Cherokee purple, famously good tasting tomato. Supposed to be very flavourful. Has a problem with cracking, especially if you get any rain, and I can live with that if it tastes fantastic. It's generally considered by, if you take an average of all the people's top 5 tomato varieties, it's considered the best tasting in existence. More perennial leeks, and there's an asparagus plant in each corner, but not there. So there's 4 asparagus across the front here. Pineapple tomato, again planted because it's supposed to taste fantastic. These tags in the middle here, they're mainly mango ginger. Actually, they're all mango ginger, and it's all the way along. Because it's not a plant I have to touch, I have to prune back or do anything with. I've got some blue flowering nigella seeds in. I like nigella seeds. They're good for cooking. They're hard to find. They're usually not in supermarkets. And it's a really gorgeous flower, and it brings pollinators in. And I've got some more over there that I planted earlier that are up. Okay, the mystery bean is still alive, and I still want to find out what it is. I've got about 5 or 6 pieces of calendula I've put in. I know these are going to get huge by next winter, but it can grow over the path and get trodden on. It's fine, and I can cut it back when I want to. The potatoes, which were planted from the rear toward the front over the course of perhaps 2 weeks, week and a half, they're starting to die back. I'm excited I might get some potatoes, and there really hasn't been very much pest pressure. It is accelerating seemingly, but it's not a bad time for the pests to come in and have a go at them, if there's ever a good time, because I think they've done most of their work by now. And I'm pretty sure none of the Kennebec have grown. These are only the Desiree and the hagfish. And since one of them is red, the Desirees, we'll be able to tell, I'll be able to tell which is which. But it might even be before next month I might do a harvest or have to dig all of these up. In which case I will weigh them and I will have some results for you. More leeks and the onions, shallot onions. I'm trying to grow them by division. Calendula, some kind of carrot. I don't care, I'll see which one works for me and go with that. I think I put in some dwarf tomato family. It'll be in, I'll put it in the caption. We could just about go the other side here. We'll do 2 bad birds with one stone. Sow thistle, it came up. It's a weed, but it's fine for chooks, and they do seem to like it. So I'm going to let it grow, prune off bits, and throw it to the chooks with some green scratch. Okay, this tomato is actually doing surprisingly well considering the soil issues it has with dug over soil with cardboard over the top and topsoil on top, and there's voids under the cardboard. I thought that would be calendula. I thought that would be a problem for it, but it does seem to be doing quite well. This is probably a dozen peanuts, 10 peanuts. Yep, that's a row of 2 rows of peanuts. I probably should put something in there to indicate what they are. Interesting thing about the winged beans, they get to a certain stage and then they tend to stall and stop, and a month or 2 later they'll just take off. I think they're building up a tuber, and then when they're ready they just go bang. Another rouge de Marmande. Right, the rouge isn't the biggest producer in the world, they're not the largest tomatoes, but they're very, very tasty. Got 3 chunks of black turmeric here beside the path. And this is the earliest nigella I planted. I probably should get in there and do a little light weeding. Yeah, an issue with the path is you don't always see the stepping stones. Andy's nuts. A guy called Andy grew some peanuts and gave me some. Out of the 8 peanuts that I had, 5 were useful, 1 had sprouted and 2 were tiny. So I think he might have harvested those at just the right time. And since he doesn't know what species it is, I've got Andy's nuts and the mystery nuts that I bought from a shop. So yeah, I think I put some more, yeah, I put some more winged beans in over there. That's another echinacea, hopefully, or a weed, but I planted echinacea. This is white flowering society garlic. I've got some more of this to put in. So I've got the variegated version, I've got the purple flowering, and I'm putting in the white over here. Finally, this area has been fairly densely planted with mango ginger. It didn't strike me as a huge turmeric plant last season, so if it's going to be as big as normal turmeric, it's going to be very crowded in there. This is where I took the 8 Hawaiian purple out, and I've put in 4 black turmerics. This is supposed to be a fairly large, robust plant, so I hope I've got the spacing approximately correct. I've got some jalapenos in. Again, I'm worried that they're going to get stung. And oh, it's just about to flower. Calendula, carrots of some description, blue flowering, yeah, winged beans. I am trying some Lebanese cucumbers on the fence to see if the wallabies eat it. And I also have to put some on some trellises because I think the wallabies are going to eat it. These are more mystery nuts, peanut times 7. Let's see, I can label things at times. Oh yes, I've got nothing in here, and oh, that's cosmos. I thought that might have been carrots from a bit further back. So yeah, a bit more cosmos. I'm not sure what, if it's mixed cosmos or what, but we'll find out in due course, won't we? Okay, these are oilseed sunflowers I wanted to grow for the chooks, but they're a headache here. We get white cockatoos, we get black cockatoos as well on a daily basis, but the white cockatoos, if they see a sunflower plant, they will fly it down and eat it before the seeds have even gotten remotely hard. Breeze coming. I would like to grow this for my chooks. I don't know how good the seed is. It's literally from a 3 kilo bag of black sunflower seeds I got at the feed barn. And I'm just going to see how it goes, but I put it in here particularly because I can use this and the post at the end there, and I can tie a stick to them and extend a trellis upwards to come out and over and work out how to protect this from the cockatoos, because they'll get to it before you do. Oh, it's also fantastic as a pollinator around here. The native bees love them, and so do the European bees and the non-hiving, non-social bees. But I want holes in the netting big enough for them to get through, but I have to stop the cockatoos, or I'm just growing it for the cockatoos. And they get plenty of food from the passion fruit anyway. I don't net that, they can have it, but I don't want them to eat my sunflowers. So I've got potential to expand that down to here once I see how that's going, and I might just be able to move the netting this way to over, rather than having to redo it all, and I can tie it to this and see how it goes. But that was the best place I could think of to put sunflowers in, because of the ease with which I should be able to net along the fence. And the net's going to have to probably go outside the fence because a cockatoo could land on that and stick their head through. And yeah, we'll see how big a problem it is and how big the sunflower plants get, because I don't know if they're multi-headed, if they're single-headed, if they're a hybrid, whether they'll throw true to type or I'll get 20 different, 16 different types of plant out of it. I put 2 seeds in each hole, and I'm going to thin to 1. So yeah, we'll find out together what kind of sunflowers they are over the coming weeks. As long as I net them the minute heads start to form and before they're open. As long as I've got the time. Well, I think that's the veg patch tour up to date. I still am not planning on doing anything here, and that bed at the back is a temporary one. when I decide exactly what I'm doing with this area, I'll use that soil somewhere. In the meantime, I may as well use it. It's doing good work. As always, there's a fair bit going on, experiments in the works, the usual, and we live and learn. I can't wait to learn if I've got potatoes, how many, and what they weigh. So yeah, it's going to be a fun month. I hope you tune in for the next one. Meantime, have a good one. Take care of yourself.